Well, I finally decided that I would start a YouTube channel. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I really don't know where to begin, but I've got a lot of channels that I follow, so you'll probably see a little bit of all of those incorporated into this. It's just a small journey into what I feel led to do, because I'm grateful to the good Lord that I'm able to walk upright. About 3 years ago, I was in an accident and I fractured a vertebrae in the center of my back. First broken bone ever. I did it right. I broke my back. Never had a broken arm, leg, nothing. But I broke my back. And several of my teeth. So, anyway, the Lord has ways of telling you it's time for you to stop and reevaluate where you are in life and where you should be and the things that you were doing. And pardon me if I'm not looking directly at the camera. I keep an eye out for hawks and other things, and I'm looking for my goats that are hiding in the bushes. But I thought we'd start off with a little tour of my 2 acres of heaven that I grow a garden on, and I'll wind up giving most of it away to people who need food and just don't have the money, because let's face it, food stamps, or SNAP benefits as they're called now, they don't pay the bills, and fresh vegetables are hard to come by. If you've got $10, it's easier to buy 5 boxes of macaroni and cheese than it is to buy 1 mess of collard greens and 1 head of cabbage. So I figure fresh vegetables are a good thing to donate to people who need things to eat. Anyway, let me turn the camera around and let's have a small tour of what we're working with. This is what I've gotten done so far this year. Not able to do much at a whole lot, or at one time. I prefer not to have to take painkillers on a regular basis, so we work for a little while, then we stop and we take a break. But this little area is what I've got done so far, and we've got some broccoli, some cabbage, collards. I live in the area where you can grow Vidalia onions, so I can call mine Vidalia onions. 2 different kinds of collards, mustard, turnips. Beets just didn't come up this year. Little shed in the background, that's where my goats stay. I bought 3 at an auction, and I came home from deer hunting one afternoon and I had 4. So then I decided I gotta name this thing. So what do I name it? Well, I went the Grizzly Adams way. That little girl's name is Number 1. But out in that area, that's where the goats hang out. Over on this side, I haven't fenced it in yet. That's gonna be for them later on in the winter. And some of it has some rye that's beginning to come up, and there's where the poor possum lost his life for trying to get my meat birds and the feed that I had out for him, and I just haven't taken that pen down yet, but I'll get to it. But all of this area is just the backyard. I've got 2 acres that I work with, and this area here, there'll be a dedicated coop for egg layers, and then beyond the fence will be pasture, and I'll rotate the garden spot here and there throughout the place, and just kind of recycle the pasture ground and get it all up to par. Got a pitiful fig tree that I'm going to replace this year, a muscadine grapevine and scuppernong. I have to have both of them for cross pollination, so I have both, but that'll get pruned back later on. All of this over here, all this timber, about 15 foot of it's mine. The rest of it belongs to Rayonier. It's nice having a paper company as your next door neighbor, because there's several thousand acres that no one lives on behind me. Across that pond over there, which about a third of that pond is mine, and the other 2/3 are the lady in that trailer you see directly in front of you. See if I can't widen this up. And those other cabins are for hunters that are members of the club that Rayonier has on their property, and they can be annoying at times, but so far they don't have loud parties. They just like to drink a little too much and target shoot in the evening whenever I'm trying to watch my YouTube videos or listen to the news. But people are people. You got to deal with them. And this used to be a well house, but now it is where I refinish cast iron cookware. I only deal in the American made stuff. It's got to be vintage. I don't like the new stuff with the gritty bottom. There's my 2 Cornish cross I've got left that I haven't butchered out, and I've got 3 Red Rangers around here, and I can tell you the difference between the two. The Cornish cross is the better meat birds, but I sell a lot of produce to Mexicans, and they don't want those. They want the skinny old yard chickens that we all grew up loving. So I've got 50 of those coming next week. The old lawnmower deck. Somebody said, what are you going to do with that? Well, it's going to become a feeder. That's my chicken feeder. And you can see, here's my 2 turkey chickens. They're coming up expecting something. Not yet. You'll get your evening snack in a little while, girls. This little area right here, I think I'm going to plant some Cherokee tan pumpkins in next summer. Finish cleaning up what the previous tenant of this place had over here for a burn pile. It's got good soil there. You can see by the hill it's got really good drainage. So I'll not have too much problem with moisture and powdery mildew. It's hard for me to grow squash and pumpkins and things like that with all the moisture we have in southeast Georgia. I broke down lawnmower, got to work on it, always something. This house was moved here about 60 years ago from just a couple miles down the road. As a matter of fact, my dad's first cousin's uncle moved it here, so it's basically dog kin, as we say in the South. So it is family property. But I just wanted to give you guys a little show of the place, let you see what it looks like now. That way, as things progress, you'll be able to see the changes that are made. These little rose bushes up front are about all I've done this year. And this guy right here is an olive tree, and I have another one. We're going to see if we can't get some olives. I love olives, so we're going to try that out. But the name of my operation is Agape Farms because it takes a special kind of person to have true agape love. And if you don't know what that means, I suggest looking it up. It's a very useful term, and it's a great aspiration to try and accomplish in your life, is to have true agape love for your fellow man. Not to worry about what they do with their business. Mind your own and just love them for who they are, because the 2 greatest commands that Christ gave was love your God with all your heart and all your being, and love your neighbor as yourself. And that is agape love. So I named this Agape Farms because I only keep what I need for myself, and the rest of it I donate to those who are in need. If you're in need and you're hungry, if I hear about it, don't think I won't show up on your doorstep with a box that's got all kind of vegetables in it. I'm not going to cook it for you, but I'll bring it to you. But anyway, my name is Morgan. If you like what you see and you think that this is a project you might want to watch the journey on, hit the subscribe button, because there's many more things to come, and we'll talk to you next time.